welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Riding Through the Unknown. I'm your host, Michael, and I have been talking with tonight's guest backstage, and so I can honestly say you all are in for an amazing treat with this guest. She has so much really cool information to share with you all. So I am so excited that she was able to come on tonight and to be a guest on the show. I'm so grateful for that. And so I could tell you all of her background and about her, but I simply just don't think I could do it justice. And so I'm going to turn it over to my awesome guest to introduce herself, the one, the only, multi talented Elina Akva.
Hi, everyone. So I'm a little bit nervous. This is my first public interview. Thank you, Michael, for having me and giving me this space to speak about my experiences and share, share about the events that happened in my life. So, I'm a quantum healer and I'm a contact experiencer. I'm also an astral traveler, and I would also call myself as a timeline shifter. So I work with a timeline sometimes, and I can also remote view. And my life is never boring.
That's amazing. And so when you talk about like timeline shifting, are you like talking about like where Mandela effects are created, where certain people remember certain facts that didn't happen, but they have proof that they did?
No, not about that. So when I work with people that come with a specific request to see how their problem can unfold, so going into the quantum energy field around them and see their probable timelines. So because we always have like 3 or 4 kind of options or probabilities, and then I would tell what I see, and then I can kind of energetically make a straight line and put the person on that timeline that he wants to be on.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but we do that together. Is because I don't think you can mess around with anybody's destiny without that person also taking charge, being responsible. So it would be me directing the process and the person would be doing the job. And I always say that everybody needs to learn how to self-heal, how to choose what is best for them and follow their intuition. Just learn to trust yourself. Learn to recognize what's aligned for you and what's is in balance.
So is this something you've always had, or did you have an aha moment where you were like, oh, I can do this, and were guided to it?
No. Give me a moment. No. So what happened is that I never knew that I have any connection to the galactics, or I never knew that I was a kind of alien consciousness in the human bio vessel until 2021. However, when I was 9 years old, I remember a spacecraft landing in the backyard of a remote village where I stayed during the summer. And that was the first encounter. And I remembered this event as a like kind of weird dream all my life. So I thought that was a dream. Because there's a lot to it, because I woke up in the middle of the night because there was a beam of a white light uh, illuminated the whole room, and I woke up from this brightness, and I walked up to the window, and I saw the silvery saucer type craft. And because I was still a child, I wouldn't understand what it was. And the next thing I remember is being enveloped in this light. And then I was unconscious. So then I woke up the next day thinking, what a dream. So in 2024, I had a QHCT hypnosis technique developed by Dolores Cannon. And so that experience was confirmed as being real.
That's really amazing. And
yeah, so the next experience happened in 2021. Someone came in the dream and said, here's your Akashic records. And because in my normal life, I was kind of far away from metaphysics. Like I lived a pretty normal life. Never heard about alien species, extraterrestrial races. So I never even investigated or had interest in in this information. And basically, all the terminology that they used during this interaction didn't make sense for me. Okay, it didn't make sense for me. And when I woke up, I thought again, what a fun dream. And then I completely, I gotta put it back, at the back of my mind, and continued my normal life. What do I say? Normal, like early life. And I guess there was another push in 2022 when all of a sudden I became psychic and started to feel energies and the different electromagnetic field and the flow of energies in my body, outside. And I'm like, wow. And then I started to receive flashes, like quick images in my mind's eye about some upcoming events that they did come true, or some other scenery or that have no connection to any I think locations here on Earth. Like it was too odd. And then I think the contact experiences intensified, and then it was a full blown in 2023. And since that time, I started to receive directions, like instructions and conversations, and a lot of dream visitations. And I started working with people and understand how energy works. Well, I'm still in the process of, I think, unpacking more knowledge that was always within me. But I already kind of in the intermediate stage, not a newbie in that anymore.
that's amazing. And I'm wondering, as your 9-year-old self,
Mm-hmm.
when you saw the craft outside, Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember what shape it was or
Yes.
any?
Mm-hmm. It was a sort of discoidal uh, saucer type, but there was also like a rim, and there were like not flickering lights. I think it was along the rim. It was like alternating lighting. It was I remember it was like whitish. I think I don't remember different colors. I think it was a consistent solid color, but it was just like running. I don't know whether it was in the middle or it was like right under. Um, I don't remember this detail.
I'm also curious. Do you remember if it made any sounds or was it quiet?
Oh, it was quiet. It was quiet.
Okay. I like to ask because it's like we reverse engineer stuff, and so if it was making noise, it's like I might be going, could that be one of ours? That or but we don't have the ability for silent craft, so that's really cool that you had that experience
Well,
at 9 and could remember all that.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, consciously, I didn't remember this as being as a real experience. Like I thought it was a dream. And during my QHCT, a group of beings showed up. I mean, spoke through me when the hypnosis facilitator was asking questions. They or I say they because it's a group. They confirmed that they paid a visit to check on the seed, like me, basically. And what was very interesting is that they call me. I was sort of in a like higher, I think I wouldn't say higher ranking star seed, but very important. So I don't know how to use the better term. Not an elder, but somebody who's supposed to unite other star seeds, find them, and help them to, I guess, remember who they are.
Like
Like I
an
have I
emissary,
have this responsibility. Mm-hmm.
like an emissary or an envoy.
I am on the Envoy program, and I'm in more than one program. And so, right now, since this activation, I receive more in depth knowledge and understanding what Starseeds are doing here and different types of missions they do, like they perform. And what I remember is that normally they would be grouped, so based on their mission. So the groups always consist of 12 souls and plus one. So that would make a total of 13. So in order for their star seeds to successfully, basically do their job or their, soul contract, they would need to unite because the strength is always in unity. Because we have shards of, it's like like it's a puzzle that has to fit, like the puzzle pieces have to fit together.
Right, that makes sense, and it also is like I've noticed when you talk with star seeds and everything, they always are talking about like unity,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no I, there's always we, and
Yes.
this is what we're here to do. This is what we, and I've always wondered, why is it always we? But it makes sense with the fact that they um, grow stronger as a unit, because we even see programs where when one person stands up, they push him over and they're like, nobody, it's like, no, you didn't really do anything. But you get 2, 3, 4, it gets harder and harder with each person to push them over. And so it makes sense why the star seeds would do that.
Well, the interesting fact, even for me to realize and kind of observe that when the beings come interdimensionally into my physical space, they're always from a group of either 3 or 7, and yeah, well, I actually didn't see more than that, but never alone. So the minimum was a 2. I call them people, right? Because some of them can be just in the astral body, but they can be humanoid species. That's why I call them people too. But they can be just living either on the ship or on their in their star system in another planet, but visit me in their astral body. So they always come as a group of 3. What I noticed.
So you make more contact with them and work with them on the astral than in the physical realm. Am I understanding that right, or is it both?
Yes, I can be woken up middle of the night, and I would sense or kind of see shadowy figures, and I can hear sort of voices in my mind, and I can ask them questions, and they can answer back, and I can, if they do any energetic transference or information download, because sometimes it's so hard, especially when they shoot the information straight into your third eye, the pineal gland, or there's some work that they did on me, was like sort of like where the temporal lobes are, and it was so intense because the frequencies are so high, and it's very hard for the it's even painful for the physical body you're in. So I tell them to kind of stop, or say I need a break, or I cannot take it anymore, and they do listen. So I think the difference between the benevolent and the malevolent groups is that the latter guys, the bad guys, will never listen to you. They would be actually causing harm.
That's true, and that's a good way to look at it. And one thing I feel, a question that a lot of people would probably be wanting to know is, when you're talking with them here, when you hear them here in this world, are you able to understand the language that they're speaking,
Well,
or
so here's the thing. I'm not a native speaker, right? I wasn't born in the States. I learned English here. So as you can see, I don't have an accent. But all the conversations, either they happen in the dream space, or when I'm in the state between being awake and being asleep at night, but kind of half there. So I do hear all the chats, I mean the words. I do hear all the words in English.
okay?
So that's never in my native language, always in English.
That's kind of interesting. I wonder why never in your native language,
No,
because
never. No, never.
that would make more sense because only you would be able to understand it.
Right. I think because of the scope of what I'm supposed to do, that I should be able to access more people. And in order to be able to communicate, I should relay the information in the way it was presented, right, in English. So English is their world, language.
So when you say like the your mission and your work, what do you feel like if you doing what you're doing right now would if something happened to you tomorrow, you could say I did my mission. What would that look like? What are you wanting to leave behind?
I think I'm going to publish a book. I'm in the process of writing, and it's called the Diary of the Intergalactic Soul. And I think it will be like a memoir of how it all happened, where it all began, and it's almost like backtracking, because that connection with the off-world civilizations was always there. I was just not paying attention. For example, I had been worked on in 2015. So back then, I was living in New York City, and all of a sudden, when I had a physical checkup, and it turned out that all my hormones, like over the roof, like 10 times more than they should be. I mean, the our normal rates were like, it was way off, and so my my doctor, my physician, sent me to have a CAT scan of my brain, because there was a suspicion that I have a pituitary gland tumor, because they did the thyroid panel, they did all the blood work, and they couldn't find anything there, and then they thought that must be in the brain, must be the tumor that is pushing on the production like certain region, and that would produce this abnormal hormones, uh, and I mean abnormal amount of hormones. And so they did the brain CAT scan. They found nothing, and they were so puzzled. And I was on the watch for I think 6 or 7 months, meaning that they were taking my blood work monthly to see the changes in other panels, like I think it's called lipid or thyroid, all that. And then all of a sudden, because they didn't know the cause of it, they couldn't give me any medication, because they couldn't find the cause. It was just well, if you read the charts, then it's like doesn't make sense. But then they did everything. They checked everything in my systems, and they couldn't find what was causing it. And basically, it all stopped and normalized itself after like 6 months. And I believe that probably was something done from from my people. Yeah, I just don't remember it. Another, I think, okay, also another fact that is, well, always with like that would indicate that I'm a little bit different is that I'm jumping out of the body a lot. And I was never trained to do that. We're talking about the astral projection. And I have been doing this for over 30 years. And I don't know what causes it. Sometimes I just lie down and I start separating. When I'm talking about like my astral body is separating, and recently I figured out where it exits from the back. And I also do soul traveling, and that's what I just mentioned, the astral traveling, astral projection.
Yeah. So when you talk about soul traveling, are you talking about through time and different
Yes,
timelines?
yes, yes. Astral traveling, because there's a different awareness of who you are there, and your consciousness is no longer identifies itself with being Elina and having the memory or experiences here that you accumulated on Earth. Because as a soul, I remember visiting other worlds, but also I have a remembrance of being in space, and I know how the space looks like. And then I remember traveling in I think I would call them the vortexes. I call them tunnels because I don't know any other word to describe. And they look like encased tunnels. And then I'm like traveling at ultra fast speed, and then I'm being like all of a sudden like I will spit it out somewhere. That because when I do astral projection, I have basically I have a full control. Like I kind of more aware of that I am a leaner, and this is my copy, and I check myself like check my if I can affect the physical environment, and I check out my astral etheric hands, and it's different. It's a different perception as well.
So when you're in the astral plane, I get asked this a lot myself when I talk about it. Is how did you learn to move around? Like, did you just start realizing how fast you can go and you just took off, or did you go, okay, I'm going to go to the moon, then I'm going to go to Mars, and you just kind
No,
of baby
I
step
don't
out?
really. In my astral body, I'm more confined to the Earth plane, so I travel around here. I don't go or off planet. I don't live Earth. I don't live Earth.
Okay, so where are some of the places that you've been to with the astral plane around the planet? Do you?
I think there's several levels of planes, and because I noticed that, for example, when I go to sleep and all of a sudden I'm somewhere else, but I remember when I wake up vividly who I met, who I had a conversation with, what the being looked like, what he told me, what he showed me. So I would wake up and have this remembrance memory, right? So I think that's a different type of astral travel rather than me just jumping out and doing some work here, like on my own, and having a full control, because I definitely know when I'm supposed to be merging back with my body. It's almost like a pull back. It's not like a sudden pull, but it's time because you were out of your body too long. So the longest, I would say the longest period when I was out of my physical body was only 1 hour. Again, 1 hour Earth time, because when you're in a different dimension, I guess, or plane, you don't perceive
Right. In the astral, there is no clocks anywhere
No,
to tell you.
there's no reference point there. You cannot say, "Oh, that's the future, that's the past, this is the present." You don't have that ability to understand, because everything is like all merged together. And but for some reason, I know that it's time for me to go back into my physical body, or there will be bad consequences, or something bad can happen.
No, that's true, and that is something that is true with, when you do work on the astral plane, is you do have to be careful. And I wonder, you say you only operate here on the planet. Is that your choice, or do you just not feel drawn to try and pop out and experience space and beyond?
Okay, let's talk about choices. So when I had my curiosity, I think it didn't give me any cell release, right, or comfort, or because those 2 hours I was sobbing intensely, because I kept saying that was a mistake of me coming here, that I'm failing, that was a huge mistake, and I no longer want to be here. So and I said, well, I don't agree anymore, right? It's almost like I don't want to do this mission anymore, because it's like too much, and it's like there was an overestimation of what I can do here with my energies, with my soul signature, or what I brought here. So what happened is, my galactic, I always say they're guides, okay? They said that nobody appointed me being here. I volunteered, and that was my conscious decision. And they cannot take me back, okay? So because I experienced a lot of trauma here, I want to be extracted, I want to be taken back, and it's not happening. And they say they can't. Okay, they can't. And yes, I did agree to help the evolution of consciousness here, and for the people to learn about their origins, or their connection to the cosmos. But at the same time, there are a lot of different factions here at play, because not only you deal with early trauma and have to provide for yourself, and you're being different, you're being looked upon as schizophrenic and everything, or odd, even though you never mention any extraordinary things like ETs, UFO, but you are energetically and repulse people, because I do, like, people don't feel comfortable in my field, as if something is pressuring them, and I cannot lower my frequency, and they become very uncomfortable. And so I had this problem all my life, being a loner. Okay, I'm always alone, like almost all the time. And what else? So not only you deal with this social annihilation, right, when you're not connecting to other people, but also the until you realize who you are, you're being manipulated and astrally attacked by other, malevolent groups that want, have their own agenda here, and they don't want you to wake up and use your abilities and manipulate energies, right? So
Right.
so you have a lot here on the plate to jungle. Like, you have to take care of a lot of problems as a starseed. But another problem is that this physical body is not well adjusted with your light body, with your astral body, and you have a lot of allergies and was ailments. So, and I had this all my life. I'm really allergic, but I had other issues, health issues.
And that's something I think feel is always important to bring up when talking about a lot of this is our generation. When we were growing up, we had no outlet to talk with anyone or any support system to help us, so we had to do everything on our own, stand on our own. And so the fact that today, the word UFO and um, starseed is common knowledge is because there were so many brave people who stood against society and said, no, this is real, and fought a not well. When I say fought, it's a non-violent fight, but they made it to where it's
Mm-hmm.
now common knowledge in our vocabulary. So if you say to someone, "Oh, I think I'm a star seed," more people are going to be like, "Oh, you should go talk to so and so." And there's now a support little network for that. And the problem that a lot of the older generation people is, being ingrained so much that you were on your own, you
Sure.
have an inability to trust a network, even though you were a part of building it.
That's absolutely true, especially for the first wave, how Dolores calls them, first wave, the first wave of volunteers. I'm the second wave. I was born in 1985. So I'm definitely there, the second wave. And I think within this, past 2 or 3 years, I came into terms with me being different. I finally accepted myself and my strangeness. I Because I always wanted to fit in. I always wanted to blend in with the crowd or be like everybody else. That was my biggest dream ever, to to be accepted in the circles, or be invited to the parties, or like social gatherings, because I was hardly ever invited anywhere to join.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, and I have a very close circle of friends, and they do know who I am, and they support me. Now I did meet other star souls. It's always like a recognition. It's like undeniable. Like you read, it's a kind of different perception, like a frequency. You can tell apart, or I think the alien genes, that DNA gives off a specific vibration.
I'd agree with that. And there seems to be an ability to sense the star nation that people are with, because you'll be talking with them and all of a sudden you may say, "Oh, Arcturian," and they're like, oh, I know that word. Yeah, I know this, and this about it. And you're like, how
It's
did I
amazing.
know?
I think it also became very popular, and I think it's becoming, I think, a little bit caustic, a little bit, how I say, you would want to think that it's a good thing that now there's so many outlets where you can read about or learn about different star races. But at the same time, um, there comes manipulation as well, but also like very how to say, like poisonous environments.
Right,
I now right now feel and see the how to explain to you the two sides of the coin, right? So
right,
when you take a concept and it's supposed to be a very like a very good benevolent or serving humanity concept, but and then it splits into two directions. The same like when you have a free will, right? You can use the free will to build communal places and better the in the nature, I mean, for the betterment of the nature. But you can also, because you have a free will, you can also destroy.
right.
Right.
And one thing that I think is important to note is, like, I could say, oh, I'm Palladian, so every Palladian must be like me, and that's not true.
It's not
Is
sure, there are so many
there's light
subgroups.
and malevolent on both sides. It does, there is no one race that is pure benevolent, pure malevolent. They all
Well,
have
there's a
both.
lot of deception, I would say, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat here. I I did telepath with well, reptoids. For some time, they were siphoning my energy when I was completely new to this. They were giving me these crazy ideas, what actions to take in my early life. That one thing. Another thing, they were giving me the wrong information. They were leading me into disaster. And I thought they are like, I think, Pleiadians. So they were telling me they were, and but I felt that their messages were very dry, very robotic, and very devoid of any empathy or softness. And if I would ask why, I would not receive like a definite it will be like, oh, washed out information. And later when I think practice more on my uh well, seeing through my mind's eye, I call, right, uh to to see through the veil. So then I realized that they were not who they pretended to be, and I cut the communication. And I actually I think I stopped trying to, I mean, even allowed anybody into my field for at least like 4 months, because I was so scared again to um, to have any species energy energies in my field. And I think I also experienced some sort of trauma because again they are siphoned energy,
Right,
because I would also be tired. I will be also be very tired after the communication, not because I'm low vibrational. um well, first I thought it could be, but it's completely different from with the standing high frequency when you have a visitation from higher consciousness beings. That's completely different. So you're not tied there. You're just a little bit uncomfortable, but you're not definitely fatigued, you know?
Right. And my experience, and I'm not going to speak to yours, but I'm curious if you have found this yourself, is one, or, well, I say one way, but it's really two ways you can tell when you're visiting with another star seed or another star race is if they're starting to lead you to be afraid of something or isolate you from everything else, that is more likely a malevolent group of that race,
Mm-hmm.
and that the benevolence, like we were saying earlier, are, the unity. So it's like they don't want you isolated, they want you around others and to, you know,
Well,
lift you up.
I would agree, but the thing is, they can also use we, and you know what they do? They use a holographic technology. You can see them being full of light, and have this beautiful, um, you know, facial features and everything, and they can emanate light, but uh, underneath their hologram there's a different type, right?
Right. That's where I was saying, like, if they're leading you to fear, that would never be a malevolent entity. They would never want you to be afraid.
True. Well, what I noticed, I'm never afraid in the astral, but I do get scared. I think it's again a normal reaction to be afraid here. Like today, I saw a spider, a huge one, doing a knot on my egg chair, and I'm like, I was a little bit scared to to, um, to remove the guy. So about the how you would discern, like you have your technique, I have, I guess, mine. I now try to look into to find the eyes. So um even when I work with people, the humans, uh in order for me to tap into some information, I have to look into their eyes, and I do the same right now in the astral to identify. I think there's something about the eyes, like I'm being portaled into, like it's a portal, and I think I access a different field. I guess if it's a hologram, then I can break through the hologram.
All right. They say eyes are the windows to the soul, and so it's
Yeah.
like their way of seeing their true self.
Yes, I would agree with that. And another thing, when so I told you the eyes, and the second feature that I'm focusing on when I work with people, I need to hear the voice, the vibration of the voice, the sounds, how the person sounds. And he doesn't have to tell me all his story, and it can be only 1 minute of a recording. When I listen, and I start receiving the information. First, it's just by listening to the vocal cords, right? And second, just looking straight into the eyes. It has to be a clear picture of the face, without glasses, without how I call, but without glasses, basically unobstructed view for me.
No, that's great that you found that out and figured that out, because now what happens is, since you shared that, future generations that are looking at this right now and going, how do I discern? How do I know? Can take my way or your way and figure out what works for them.
Well, it's not. I think even if you are not a star set, let's say, but most humans are hybrids, right? They have um, gene, alien genes, but whether they want to accept that or not, at least they have a smaller percentage of alien genetics. Um, but they also can be multidimensional, meaning that they can connect and communicate with other consciousness.
That's true. And I think what I'm finding interesting is, as we're growing and, shifting around through everything, and people's awareness is becoming more open and more shared. Like, you're sharing yours, I'm sharing mine.
Mm,
That people who are hybrids and star seeds that have been denying it for their life because they're like, I can't
sure.
understand this, are seeing us and being like, oh, if they're okay with it and look at them doing this, maybe it's time to acknowledge my side. And so there is no, because, 30 years have gone by and you said no, you can never say yes to activating the DNA, so to speak, or the
Oh
energy.
yeah. By the way, I posed that question in my curiosity team because before I went into that session, I like I wrote all the questions and I gave it to my facilitator to ask, and one of the questions was, um, why or who activated me, right? And they said nobody did. You had a time capsule inside you that you programmed yourself. Nobody activated your metaphysical abilities because you did it yourself. Because they had to come online whenever it was the time. And I programmed right? Um, because I'm an stasis pod right now there, my original body. So I did bring their special like time capsule with the knowledge. Okay, it also has a knowledge, and I programmed it myself, and nobody came and activated me. That was actually which means I don't think another person can activate you unless you are ready.
I agree. And one way is, like we were talking about, is, you listening to this podcast and something resonates with you, and all of a sudden you start going down the rabbit hole and you're like, oh, and you start becoming more aware of things. And another thing is, you could just be walking along and all of a sudden you look at something and go, that doesn't seem right. And you start looking at it, trying to figure it out, and
Mm-hmm.
you end up down a rabbit hole and you're like, oh, my awareness is not the same anymore. And so people activate different ways. And I think the misnomer about it is like, a lot of people will say, oh, my memories were triggered by this.
Yeah, there
And
can be a trigger
triggering
for
has
sure.
a bad connotation with some people. And so it's like, yeah, triggering just means you woke up to something. Something activated in you. It's not
There's,
something.
it's yeah, you're I think your higher self, all knowing part of you is working with your I guess lower density body and consciousness. It's all consciousness anyways. uh and there's a point when that it's time for you to know um about the existence of other life forms, right? They're also entitled to um to life, basically, because we're all come from the source, the prime creator. um
Right.
yeah. And what I wanted also to mention about that QHTT hypnosis. um there was something else I wanted to tell about that revelation about the self-activation. Oh yes, I remember now. So when I was working with one lady in France, I think last summer, her request was, when she came to me, and she actually wanted to learn channeling, right? Channeling or telepathy, how to talk to different angelic beings, or maybe because she's a doctor. She works in a clinic. She wanted to have help and learn how to better cure her patients, or administer the um, the protocols, the healing protocols, like within the framework of the traditional medicine. So she also wanted to assist them, help them energetically, but she didn't know how. And so she came to me so I can probably see if she would have this abilities unlocked. And all of a sudden, the the group that called themselves dromedarians came through, and they say, well, there's somebody here who you cannot me I mean you cannot talk to directly, but we're gonna be the intermediary, like, right? This do you use
Right.
the medium, the
The
intermediary?
translator.
Ah,
Like a translator, the intermediary. Yeah.
yes, yes. So this those are the order of white lines, and I never heard of them. Believe me, I don't know many races, like, anyways. And they told, well, those are her direct family, galactic lineage, and they're very high up there, that she would take, like you and her would take 3 months over alignment before she can connect to them, but they're waiting, and they came through to let you know that they are the ones who would be working with her. And it came true. I mean, it took about 3 sessions, meaning her to do certain, energy movements in, in the quantum, before her connection was established with her, with her guys. And so first she was very skeptical about it, very skeptical. She's a doctor, but she only wanted to, I mean, she heard you can, you know, transmit healing from other beings, that's what she wanted to do. Or kind of telepath, ask, is this a better treatment? Yes or no? Something like that for this patient, right?
Right.
But it turned out that she was a starseed, and that was uncovered through that session that she had with me when the Andromedans came through. That was surprising for me, and that was surprising for her. So because of that, that was a big surprise. So she went to a very established channeler in her region or whatever, who has over 15 years of experience. Well, compared to me, who was just, I guess, activated, right? And that practitioner told her, so, oh yeah, she never told about my session. First of all, she never told that she had a session with somebody or who came through. So she had a session with this lady who has more experience, and the lady said, well, you have a connection to these feline beings, and they look white, and like they're royalty. And so that other person confirmed, and after that she believed. And in I think in 3-4 months, she all of a sudden started it's called automatic writing, like doodling, and then the specific instructions came through, and then I mean, the rest is history. She's right now an active yeah. Well, I wouldn't say channel, because I don't like the word. Channeler is when you allow the entity enter you.
Right.
A telepath is when you just hear the words in your mind and feel the energies. That's all.
Right. And so we're actually 3 minutes over the hour.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was smooth. I think it was.
Do you have time for a couple more questions, or do you need to go?
No, I don't need to rush anywhere. Yeah, feel free to ask anything.
Okay, so one question I've been thinking about and is, you talk about being able to remote view and your psychic ability was activated recently. And I wonder if you feel like the episode that happened with you at 9 and the next one that happened a little bit later, do you think that was to prepare you and to get you on course for remote viewing and having your abilities brought
Um,
in?
I don't know really. So I think all these abilities, especially like you being so active in the astral, also ties to the remote viewing abilities. I think it's all interconnected. I think so.
Okay, and when you remote view, do you have are you only remote viewing to help a client, or do
Oh
you
yeah, no,
ever?
I don't go into the uncharted territories. There are consequences. I also never remote view people that I know. Why? Because there are certain boundaries you would like I want to observe, like privacy, right? It's because I think there's also, what's the word, you have to be integrity, right? So I only remote view when people ask me. Well, my remote viewing inquiries were only about find me the ring that I lost, or there was another one, bank cards that I lost, or So when they asked you, can you see what my ex is doing or my husband is doing, I said no. I actually refuse these types of requests. But if I need to locate something lost and valuable, then I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah. I was
mean,
just
for
yeah,
people, I'm talking about for people.
right.
We're talking about well, when you're pressed to make a certain decision, right? Let's say you had two interviews with two different companies for the job, and I would actually, well, I'm not calling it remote viewing. I'm calling it timeline review. So I will look at the probabilities of the outcome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's different. But some people call it a remote viewing too. I think all these terms are interchangeable. I think, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I was leaning towards when I was asking about the remote viewing was like, say you're reading a book and on like Robin Hood, and you're like, huh, I wonder if this was real. Would you remote view to see was there really a Robin Hood or
Oh no, I never questioned
different?
that. That's actually fun. No, I never did. But I had a fun experience recently. If we have time in 2 minutes, I'm gonna tell you. I had a shocking experience in the Astral recently. Do we have 2 minutes?
Go for it.
Okay, so as usual, I went to bed, but I started separating, and but sometimes I also well, I don't stay in my neighborhood. I can just even go to the other side of the world, but it's still gonna be Earth, or another state, and I just fly. And sometimes I can set the intention to go to the nearby mall, let's say, to hang out there. And so this time I was flying around, and all of a sudden I saw a family behind the glass balcony doors eating dinner. So I thought, oh, cool, let me look at them. Um, I was just out of curiosity, because they were the only, I think, people that had their lights up in the whole building. So I kind of landed on their balcony, and they had a lot of plants there. And maybe there was a wind or something, and maybe I caused the wind, and I guess knocked a plant over. And they also have a cat, which I learned later. So they heard the noise, and the three of them, stood up and walked and went out on the balcony. So the mother, the elder son, and the man, the man of the household, he was Asian looking, and he was in a tall. I do remember his face clearly. If I need to do a sketch, I would, but I don't know how to draw. It has to be another person. Uh, I'm into sketch. So as I'm standing there, I went to see what happened, or because of that noise. And so they didn't find their cat or something, because they were talking about their cat. And the mother and the son went back in, and the man continued standing there and piercing on me. He was like staring at me, and I thought something is wrong. Something is not right. Why he is like looking straight at me? And because I'm still standing there right on the balcony, and then I immediately I fly away. But then as I'm flying away, I think, no, 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 I have to find out why he was looking at me. So I go back. He's still there, but he was not standing there anymore. He was kind of leaning over the railing, balcony railing. He was leaning over, looking in the distance, right? It was like nighttime, and I come back in, and I project a thought into his head. I ask him, do you really see me? Can you really see me? And he telepathically says yes, but not only he says yes, he does this. And he said, I can remote view. I said, can you really see me? Are you sure? He goes again, yes. And I said, I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. And I fly away. And I realized that was a real human person. That was a real person that caught me there. Like, let's say what he would see me as a ghost, right?
Right.
Basically. But he saw me. And he answered to me that he can't see me. And he was a remote viewer, a professional one.
Yeah, that is tricky because normally on the astral we're not visible, and
No, we're not
so
visible. Why we're standing there? Because
yeah,
they're not supposed to see me, and they will not see me. I know that. I tested that many times. People don't see me. They don't see my astral body. They don't.
no, and it is trippy when they start being able to see you. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
what do I do now? Because it makes it more awkward if you just vanish. Because now you're like, yeah, now I just made that person crazy.
No, I needed to find out because I sensed that it's not like it was too obvious that he was staring right at me. He wasn't like, is it like, I also sense that he understands like something or he knows something. So, well, it turned out
Yeah.
that he saw me in for real. Yeah, that was my story.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for coming on and sharing your experiences with us.
Thank you.
And I am selfishly hoping that because this is your first time that you had fun and
First time
everything.
to talk about my experiences. Yeah, first time ever.
Well, I hope it was fun for you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna say goodnight to
Good
everyone,
night.
and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we can have you on again because I feel like there's more to your experiences that we can talk about, and so if you ever went back on, I'd be
Sure.
happy to have you back on.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Thanks again. Okay,
Yes,
see you.
and from my heart and my show to you, thank you for your service to humanity.
Thank you. I try because I signed up for this. I volunteered.
And that is brave. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay. So good night, everyone. Well, we're in different time zones, but maybe it's early evening for some. It's pretty like late here, and of course, even later for you. Yeah, you're in a different. Like you're 2 hours ahead of me. Must be late for you too.
Yeah, it's a little after 9 for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
wishing you a good night then. Okay,
yes,
and
you too, and thank you again, and we will see everyone on the next episode.
okay, bye.
Bye bye.